Hello again and welcome to how to decoupage a shell video. Okay, I'm just going to move my microphone a little closer here. Okay, so I have three basic shells here. Two scallop shells, a large one which is about 3 to 4 inches, and then I have the smaller one which is about 2 inches, and then I have an oyster shell which is about maybe 2.5 inches high. I'm going to show you on the larger shell just because it's going to be a little bit easier for you to see. Okay, so I've got my shell. Now I buy these from Amazon or any other hobby place that you can find. They are quite dusty, so they need a little bit of a clean, so I give them a quick rinse and allow them to dry so it's all ready to go. Today I'm going to be using my Mod Podge mat because it's just easier on the filming to do the mat. Okay, and then I have a selection of brushes. These are just old brushes that I don't use for anything else but for Mod Podging basically. Make sure you wash these pretty quickly after you've used them because they dry pretty quickly. Okay. And then I have my selection of napkins. So let's get a few of these out so I can show you which ones I have. So a little pointer for you, if you decide to really get into doing the decoupaging, not just on shells but decoupaging on anything, and you plan to sell, check that the company that makes the napkins have an angel policy, because there are a lot of napkin companies out there that are copyright protected, so you can't use them in items to sell. You can use them for gift making and that sort of thing, but if you're going to sell them, they will generally come after you if they find your listing on, say, Etsy or somewhere like that. So I am still in the process of trying to find out which companies do have an angel policy. Now I do know that Paper Product Designs do not, so don't use those napkins if you're going to sell items. Caspari, I believe they do not have an angel policy either, but I'm still kind of researching, so yeah, just do your research and find out. That being said, today we're just going to have some fun. Oh, okay. You know, since it's kind of the summer season, I kind of like the fish. Okay, we're going to make a fish shell. Let me pop that back over there. So normally when you get your napkins, they are 2 or 3 ply. So what you want to make sure that you do is separate all the layers, so you're left with just the one single layer of the paper. You don't want any multiple layers. Now everybody has their own way of doing this. I'm just going to tear the napkin. You can cut it too, but tearing's just so much more fun. Okay, don't worry that it's bigger than your shell. So then the first thing we're going to do with the shell is take the brush and take some Mod Podge, fairly decent amount, and we're going to coat the inside of the shell in some Mod, but it doesn't have to be a thick layer, just enough, but you've got to get it in all the nooks and crannies because you really want that napkin to stick. Okay, so we're going to just make sure that's going in all the little grooves of the shell here. I could just sit and do these for hours and hours. It's so much fun. And turn the shell around a little bit and then get a little bit more Mod Podge and get on the ends here. And I have seen, I'm in a couple of groups on Facebook of people that make things, you know, with shells and decoupage. Oh my gosh, there are so many talented, creative people out there. I am so inspired. I love seeing people create things. It's just so good for us. Okay. Pop that down there for a sec, and then I'm going to take my fish napkin and just sort of lay it there, and then I'm going to press in the middle. Now one thing I haven't done, which I was doing before, is you can put some cling film over your finger and smooth it out, and it stops the paper tearing. So I've forgotten to do that. So what I'm going to do instead is take a dry brush and just gently, I'm hoping that this will work, gently press onto the tissue. I don't worry too much about creases, because then when you go in with your extra coats of Mod Podge, sometimes the creases disappear, sometimes they don't, but generally speaking they do. So you just want to make sure you gently, don't press too hard. Sometimes I'll just tap with the brush, because while the Mod Podge is still wet, the napkin is so thin it can tear very easily, and I have had that happen a few times, and I'm not saying it won't happen this time. So just get into all the little nooks and crannies. If your napkin tears, don't worry about it. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to stress over it. Sometimes just the process of making something is just so enjoyable. I once had a friend say to me, she was a little perplexed that I did so many arts and crafts, and she questioned why I did so much of that when I'm not intending on selling everything. And I said, well, that's not the point of it. The point is that I create and make things purely for the joy of it, and for the just, you know, basically that's it. And I don't think she really understood the whole concept of just doing something just for pleasure, you know, just making something. And I'll be honest, a lot of things that I create, I don't sell. I give to friends, I give to family. My hubby is incredibly supportive, and I give him lots of handmade little bits and pieces. And yes, I have an Etsy store, and I do have some artwork on there that I'm selling. Etsy's been very slow of late though, so I'm just happy to create at the moment. So I think I've got the shell covered here. Try not to press or rub too much. Okay, and as you'll see on the back, there's quite a lot left over. Now, did I bring some scissors? Yes, I did. Bear with me, I am going to just stand up for a second, grab my scissors, and then I'm just going to trim the edges here. And just do it fairly gently, and don't worry if you've got bits left over at the edge, because I'm going to show you what I do. Hello, Koru. Another reason I haven't done many videos lately is because our sweet Koru has been incredibly sick again. We thought we were going to lose her just before my birthday, and she bounced back, and it's still ongoing. We're still kind of going through some things with her. She's just finished a course of antibiotics, bless her. She had an infection, which wasn't great, but again, she is a trooper, and she is fighting back. She does not give up, and now she's playing with her toy next to me, which is just lovely to see. I'm so happy to see that. She just turned 11, and she's been going through all her health issues for, well, since she was 5 years old. So okay, so I've cut the excess paper or napkin. Oh, and there's some here, and you can just go in with your fingers and get as close into the edge of the shell as you can, because then what you're going to do when it's dried, you're going to take a little nail file or a little sanding block, and you're just going to smooth the edges, and it's so easy to do. Okay. Okay, I think we've got most of that off there. Excuse my fingernails, I'm just going to scratch off because I I was so organised, and then I wasn't. I thought I had my little nail file with me, and I don't. So I'm going to just improvise right now. But what you see me do with my fingernail here is basically scraping off the excess napkin around the edge. And you would normally do this with a little bit of sandpaper or a nail file. So anyway, never mind. I'm on the move now, so I'm not giving up. I'm just going to do it with my fingernail. And actually, that's actually worked. Look at that. That is pretty smooth around the edge there. So it doesn't take very long for the top, for the undercoat to dry, or at least become dry enough that you can put another coat of Mod Podge on there. Excuse me while I get rid of. There we go. So that's your initial. That's your start. Then I'm going to go in. Now it's not quite as dry as I would like it, but just for the video purposes of the video, I'm going to, you know, give it another coat on top. I'm going to do it quite gently so it doesn't tear the paper. So there we go. Oh my gosh, Cora, you look so cute. She's rolled over on her back showing me her tummy. Are you happy down there? Oh, there might be a little bit of catnip on there. I wonder if that's what it is. So I'm going in with another coat of the matte Mod Podge. And this, well, it's a little thicker than the coat underneath, so it will take a slightly longer to dry. There we go. And you see how easy this is? It's so easy. Now I've got a big crease there, but that's okay. It lends to that handmade look, and that's how I'm going to look at it. Make sure you do cover the whole shell, because you really do need that sealed in pretty well. So then what you'll basically do is, once this is pretty dry to the touch, you can go in with another coat, and you can do several coats. Just make sure that they're pretty dry in between. What I love about this Mod Podge too is that it dries really clear. So it's obviously kind of a milky colour here, but it dries clear. And that's basically how you do just a basic decoupage seashell. And then once this is dry, I will edge it with a gold, some gold paint, or my gold edging pen. And there you go. I hope that wasn't too boring for you. It was super easy. I'll probably do another video where I show you how I do one of my collaged shells, but I just wanted to just show you the basics on how to make just a basic decoupage shell. So I know I had these in my previous video, but as you can see, this is the end result with the matte and with the gold around the edge. And something to note, that if you decide that you wanted it glossy and you'd already done a coat of the matte, you can put gloss on top of the matte. I'm not quite sure if the matte on top of the glossy works, but for some reason glossy on top of matte actually works. So you could, you could do it shiny if you want to, but there you go. Simple, easy. I mean, you could sit and do this with children. I mean, it's such a fun craft to do, and you can turn them into little trinket dishes. I mean, I've got my little ring here. Let's see if it works as a trinket dish. It works. Okay. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that, and I will be back again with another video soon. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.